So in this video, I actually want to go over how to get a job in pharmaceutical industry. And I think this would be a good time to make this video because a lot of people have recently gotten rejected from a fellowship, just like I did when I first applied. And this will also be a good video because I know a lot of people are actually interested in working in pharmaceutical industry that are pharmacists. So this video can be very applied to anybody interested in industry that didn't get a fellowship, that has been working for a couple of years, or overall anybody interested in working in industry in general. And these are actually the steps that I utilize to actually get a job in pharmaceutical industry after a couple months after graduation. So the first tip is going to be assessing yourself. Why are you interested in working in pharmaceutical industry? What makes you a good candidate? And then also assessing what makes you unique versus everyone else. These are important questions to ask yourself because people are going to ask you these questions, but it's also important to have a good motivation and a reason why you're actually interested in working in industry, because this process is kind of hard to actually get a job in pharmaceutical industry. So the next question you got to ask yourself is are you getting interviews? So usually when you're going through the fellowship process, you're usually getting a lot more interviews because they usually take a lot of candidates. But actually when you're looking for a full-time position, are you also getting interviews as well? And that's very important because then it leads to the next question of, are you making it into the third and fourth round interviews, the later stage interviews? So if you're actually getting into these third round or fourth round interviews, that's usually a good sign to show you that, okay, maybe you've not been a good fit for this role, but you could have been tried a different role or a different company, and you probably should get a job offer eventually. But if you're not getting into the later stage interviews process, that usually means that you need to rework your interviewing skills to actually be a better candidate overall. So the next step is going to be to review your CV/resume. And I want to put this out there because as a person that has looked at a lot of different CVs and resumes of people who have actually gotten fellowships as well as industry roles, and also now have the ability to look at people that are looking to get into industry, there's definitely a clear difference. And my main advice to those people is to just make sure you actually make the CV for the job you're looking for and not the job you currently have. And that's a clear distinction because as a person that is looking at CVs and resumes, the first page should basically look like I should hire this person as soon as you look at their CV/resume. And I think a lot of people try to focus on putting as much as possible into the entire thing when the first page is super important to make sure that that is your clear, unique proposition for the person that you're looking to get a job for. And a clear indication that your CV and resume is not good enough is just if you're getting interviews. And if you're actually getting interviews, that means that usually your CV is pretty good, or overall they just really like you that much. But I think having a really good CV just makes a big difference when you're actually looking for a job, because then they can see how your experience can actually pave a good story or be very useful in the future role you're looking for. The next tip is going to be doing professional research. And I say this because you should be obsessively curious about the role you're going to be doing in the future. And I think it's very important to constantly keep researching and learning as much as possible about industry, about your role, about the company you want to work for, and the people you're going to be working with. So if you know more than everyone else, that makes a big impact on your interview process. On top of that, there's really no excuse because nowadays you have Google where you can look up keywords about industry or look up anything you really want to look up. And on top of that, you can actually go on LinkedIn and connect people in that role and learn about what they're learning about from following them on LinkedIn. Or you can even go on Fierce Pharma or Fierce Biotech and get newsletters sent to your mailbox every single day, if not every single week. And on top of that, you can really look at news releases from the companies. So you can literally see what they're working on a weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly basis. And then basically learn as much as possible about the company and what they're actually doing. So when you actually go on interviews, they actually know you spent time to actually research it. And that makes a big difference because if you and another person are both interested in the same role, have the same qualifications, and are looking for that role, the person that is more knowledgeable and is able to show that they actually spent time to research the company and is more intentional about their research process, it just shows the hiring manager, okay, this is the person I want to hire because they're more meticulous, they're more intentional, and they're obviously a lot more curious and motivated to actually get that role. Okay, so now once you actually took the time to assess yourself, redo your CV/resume, and also have taken time to actually research the company, the roles, and understand as much as possible the pharmaceutical industry, then you should be applying to as many jobs as possible and connecting as much as possible. So applying roles is a very important step, but another important step is also connecting and building real connections with people, not just following people on LinkedIn or connecting people on LinkedIn without actually talking to them. So what you can do is if you're actually interested in applying for jobs, say for example you're interested in medical affairs, medical information, medical communications, or medical education, I actually look at going to work at a healthcare agency because they do a lot of services with companies, and they actually can provide a service to do those same skill sets with the company. If you're interested more in commercial roles like marketing, market access, business development, then I would actually look at consulting. Those are actually a really good opportunity to work with companies and actually help them with drug launch excellence. If you're interested in overall working at a industry company as well, I would look at contract roles where you're working at a company for maybe, say for example, 3 to 8 months, and you can build the skill set you need to actually work in industry and actually hopefully look for a full-time offer afterwards. Or you can actually work at a contract research organization called like a CRO, where you can actually work on clinical development, medical affairs, regulatory affairs, or commercial space, because a lot of contract research organizations do a lot of different functional areas for industry companies, which is pretty cool. And also I would say if you're really trying to build connections and connect with people correctly, make sure you're actually spending time to actually go to virtual career fairs or in-person career fairs where you actually can meet people face to face. I think nowadays with the way the climate is now with post-pandemic, even though a lot of roles are remote, it's so important nowadays to actually meet people face to face if you can. Or even if you go to a virtual career fair, try as much as possible to like show your face and like ask questions so that they can actually memorize you and like you know who you are and actually can like put a face to the name. And that's a very important thing to do. On top of that, you can also spend money going to conferences, like I said before. Nowadays, like if you really want to stand out, you have to do things that everyone else is not doing, which is like going to a conference and meeting people that are in the same field, like face to face, shake their hand, and actually get to know them as a person and what they're actually interested in doing, what their role is in the company, and maybe from then on following up in every couple months to see how they're doing and if there's any new positions available for you at that company or job. Those are my main tips for how to get a job in the pharmaceutical industry. If you guys are interested, I actually share a video right here where I actually talk about my journey to pharmaceutical industry using the tips I share with you guys today. Or you can check out the video right here where I talk about the main aspect that I work on to improve my interview process. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out. Bye.